Early humans discovered music in the sounds around them. Birdsong, flowing water, rustling leaves. These were the first instruments. Ancient musician. The earliest instruments were basic. People used what they could find. Bones became flutes. Animal skins stretched over hollow logs became drums. These simple tools created rhythms and melodies that brought people together. Music became a part of rituals, celebrations, and storytelling. Though we don't have recordings, imagine the joy these early sounds brought. Music has been a part of the human experience for a very long time. It connects us to our past and continues to evolve today. Early forms of notation were basic. They didn't show exact pitches or rhythms. Instead, they used symbols to guide performers. Classical composer. One of the earliest systems was developed by monks in medieval Europe. They used neumes, little marks above the text, to indicate the shape of the melody. Over time, notation systems became more sophisticated. Lines were added to indicate specific pitches. Different symbols were developed to represent note durations. This allowed composers to write down their ideas with more precision. Classical composer. This development was revolutionary. It meant that music could be shared and preserved more accurately. It also paved the way for the complex compositions we enjoy today. In Egypt, music played a vital role in religious ceremonies and royal courts. They had instruments like harps, flutes, and lyres. The Egyptians believed music had magical powers. Ethnomusicologists. The ancient Greeks were also deeply musical. They believed music had a profound effect on the soul. They used scales and modes that still influence Western music today. Thinkers like Pythagoras even explored the mathematical relationships within music. From the Far East to the Americas, every culture had its own unique musical language. These ancient traditions laid the foundation for the diverse world of music we know today. Gregorian chant was the official music of the Catholic Church. It was monophonic, meaning it had a single melodic line sung in unison. These chants were often hauntingly beautiful, creating an ethereal atmosphere in cathedrals. Ancient musician. But music wasn't confined to churches alone. Traveling musicians called troubadours and trouveres emerged during this period. They sang secular songs about love, chivalry, and everyday life. Their music was lively and often used instruments like lutes and fiddles. The medieval period laid the groundwork for the musical explosion of the Renaissance. It was a time of both religious devotion and secular creativity flourishing.
The Renaissance, roughly 1400 to 1600 AD, was a period of great change and discovery, marking a significant shift in cultural and intellectual pursuits. It was a time of renewed interest in art, literature, and of course, music, which saw a remarkable transformation. One of the most significant developments in music during this era was the rise of polyphony, a complex and beautiful style. This means music with multiple independent melodic lines performed simultaneously, creating a rich and textured sound. Composers like Josquin des Prez and William Byrd were pioneers in this field, crafting intricate and beautiful polyphonic works that have stood the test of time. The invention of the printing press during this period also had a huge impact on music, revolutionizing how it was shared and distributed. Before this innovation, music was painstakingly copied by hand, a process that was both slow and expensive, limiting its reach. The printing press allowed for the mass production of sheet music, making it more widely available. This meant more people had access to music than ever before, democratizing musical knowledge and enjoyment. The Renaissance was truly a time of great musical exploration and innovation, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. It paved the way for the Baroque era, a period of even greater grandeur and innovation, where music continued to evolve and flourish. The Baroque era, spanning roughly from 1600 to 1750 AD, was a time of dramatic contrasts and elaborate ornamentation, both in the visual arts and in music. Music of this period reflected the era's grandeur, complexity, and emotional intensity, often leaving listeners in awe of its intricate beauty. One of the most celebrated composers of this era was Johann Sebastian Bach, whose influence on music is still felt today. His works were masterpieces of counterpoint and fugue, showcasing his unparalleled mastery of musical form and structure. Bach's music was often complex and demanding, requiring great skill and precision from performers to bring his compositions to life. Another giant of the Baroque era was George Friedrich Handel, a composer whose works have stood the test of time. Handel was famous for his operas and oratorios, large-scale works that combined vocal and instrumental music in a powerful and moving way. His Messiah, with its iconic Hallelujah chorus, remains a beloved piece today, often performed during the holiday season. Baroque music was characterized by its use of basso continuo, a continuous bass line played by instruments like the cello or harpsichord, providing a rich harmonic foundation. This basso continuo was essential in creating the full, textured sound that is so distinctive of Baroque music. The Baroque era left an indelible mark on Western music, influencing generations of composers to come and shaping the future of classical music. The classical era, roughly from 1750 to 1820 AD, marked a significant shift from the Baroque's grandeur to a more refined and balanced style. This period was characterized by a move towards clarity and simplicity in musical composition. Music became clearer and more symmetrical, emphasizing elegance and simplicity. Composers focused on creating music that was not only beautiful, but also accessible and enjoyable for a wider audience. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, a child prodigy, became one of the most celebrated composers of this era. His extraordinary talent was evident from a very young age, and he composed over 600 works in his short life. His operas like The Marriage of Figaro and Don Giovanni are still performed worldwide. These works are renowned for their intricate plots, memorable characters, and beautiful music. His music was characterized by its catchy melodies, elegant orchestration, and perfect balance of form and emotion. Mozart's ability to blend these elements seamlessly made his compositions timeless. The classical era also saw the rise of the symphony orchestra. This development allowed for more complex and dynamic compositions, enriching the musical landscape. Composers like Joseph Haydn and Ludwig van Beethoven expanded the orchestra's size and scope, creating monumental works that explored a wide range of emotions. Their contributions further solidified the importance of the orchestra in classical music. The classical era emphasized clarity, balance, and emotional restraint. This focus on structure and form created a foundation for future musical developments. It laid the foundation for the Romantic era, which would embrace emotion and individuality. The transition from classical to Romantic music marked a new chapter in the history of Western music, highlighting the enduring legacy of the classical era. The Romantic era, roughly from 1820 to 1900 AD, was a time of intense emotion, individualism, and a fascination with the supernatural and the natural world. Music reflected these sentiments, becoming more personal and expressive. Ludwig van Beethoven, who bridged the classical and Romantic periods, played a pivotal role in this shift. His music became increasingly dramatic and emotionally charged, breaking free from classical conventions. Composers like Franz Schubert, Johannes Brahms, and Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky explored a wide range of emotions in their music. From delicate piano pieces to sweeping orchestral works, Romantic music aimed to evoke feelings and tell stories without words. The Romantic era celebrated the power of music to express the full spectrum of human emotion. It paved the way for the diverse musical landscape of the 20th century and beyond.
The 20th century witnessed a breakdown of geographical barriers in music. Increased travel and communication allowed for greater cultural exchange, influencing musical styles worldwide. Jazz, with its roots in African American communities in the United States, became a global phenomenon. Its improvisational nature and infectious rhythms captivated audiences worldwide. Latin American music, with its vibrant rhythms and passionate melodies, also gained international popularity. World music, a broad term encompassing musical traditions from around the globe, gained wider recognition. From Indian classical music to Indonesian gamelan orchestras, people began to appreciate the richness and diversity of musical expression beyond Western traditions. The 20th century saw music transcend geographical boundaries, creating a truly global musical landscape.
The late 20th and early 21st centuries brought about a technological revolution that fundamentally changed how music is created, distributed, and consumed. The invention of the synthesizer introduced new sonic possibilities, allowing musicians to create sounds never heard before. Computers became increasingly important in music production, enabling artists to record, edit, and manipulate sound with unprecedented precision. The internet and digital audio files transformed how music is shared and accessed. Music streaming services like Spotify and Apple Music made millions of songs available at our fingertips. Online platforms like YouTube provided new avenues for artists to share their music directly with a global audience. The digital age democratized music creation and consumption, empowering both artists and listeners in unprecedented ways. While technology continues to evolve, one thing remains constant: music's power to connect, inspire, and move us.